Dr. Krishnamurthy, working as a senior consultant at Vector Control Research Center in a project. And at the outset, I thank the organizers of the Society for Vector Ecology for giving me an opportunity to talk about the filariasis elimination with a new strategy of triple drugs. As we know that lymphatic filariasis is commonly known as elephantiasis, is prevalent in 83 countries, and the indigenous transmission have been reported in 72 countries. So globally 1.4 million people are at the risk of infection, and India alone contributes about 43% of the global burden in terms of the disability adjusted life years lost because of lymphatic filariasis. And there are three filarial parasites which are responsible for causing the disease in human. One is Wuchereria bancrofti, which is widely distributed, and Bruchia malayi and Bruchia timori. These three parasites are transmitted by a number of vectors, and if you see that we have parasite vector combinations, and Anopheles vectors, they are responsible for the transmission of Bruchia malayi, Bruchia timori and Wuchereria bancrofti of periodic strain, what we call it as that the microfilaria appear during the night hours. And also we have the vector, day-biting vector, Aedes vector, and that transmits subperiodic Bruchia malayi and Wuchereria bancrofti. So also we have Culex vectors, and that transmits nocturnally periodic Wuchereria bancrofti, and Mansonia vectors, which transmits periodic and subperiodic Bruchia malayi and Wuchereria bancrofti, and Achlorhydritis vectors, which are responsible for the transmission of the non-periodic Wuchereria bancrofti. So I am presenting this the vectors, different vectors involved in the transmission of the lymphatic filariasis. It shows the complexity of the transmission and also the difficulties in controlling these vectors, because we have to adopt different strategies for the control or the management of the vector population. Then coming to the target of the elimination, because in 2000 the WHO launched a program what is called as a global program to eliminate lymphatic filariasis, with an target of eliminating lymphatic filariasis as a public health problem by 2020. But now, with the advancement of the neglected tropical diseases, in which lymphatic filariasis is one of the diseases, and for NTD now the new target is 2030, and thereby the elimination of lymphatic filariasis is also, the target is now 2030. But in India, of course, we have the target of elimination by 2021. And there is a global program to eliminate lymphatic filariasis launched in 2000 by the WHO, has two major components. Number one is stop transmission using mass drug administration. Of course, we started with the single drug of diethylcarbazamine and added albendazole later. So it was initially DEC based, and then added albendazole, and this strategy is followed in many of the countries, endemic countries. The second component is reducing the morbidity by having the home care strategies to control to reduce the sufferings and also improve the quality of the life of those who are already infected. So here, when you just look at the advancements or the achievements of this global program to eliminate lymphatic filariasis, out of the 72 countries which we require some intervention to control and eliminate lymphatic filariasis, 69 countries are implementing mass drug administration, and so far I think till 2019 7.7 billion treatments have been given, and reaching more than 910 million people. And 23 countries out of the 72 countries no longer requiring mass drug administration nationally. It means that they have already reached the elimination of lymphatic filariasis. And 16 countries have achieved the validation criteria, because WHO has to give a certificate for the elimination of lymphatic filariasis based on the evidences that the country country submits to WHO, and based on that 16 countries have been identified and also acknowledged their claim of elimination of lymphatic filariasis. So if you just look at the population requiring MDA in 2018, it was around 900 million out of 1.4 billion total population living in the endemic countries. And about 600 million people, about 40% of the total population requiring mass drug administration no longer require MDA. It means they were totally protected. So that is an achievement of this mass drug administration that's being implemented in different endemic countries. And also if we just look at the burden of the lymphatic filariasis before the introduction of the elimination program and also in 2017, that is after 17 years of implementation of this program, of course at different points of time in different countries, and there was a reduction from 5.25 million dialysis lost because of lymphatic filariasis globally to 1.30. It means there was a reduction of four parts out of 5 the burden of the lymphatic filariasis. So this shows a great achievement in reducing burden of lymphatic filariasis by the global program to eliminate lymphatic filariasis. Then if you just look at the number of the countries, as I mentioned, 16 countries, they stopped and no longer require MDA, and also the WHO has acknowledged that these countries have achieved elimination. And there are 7 countries where they have stopped MDA, and of course they have to make certain observations. They have to monitor the situation for 5 more years without the intervention and see that there is no resurgence of infection. And if you have evidence that there is no reason to transmission, then of course and that is a stage where the countries can claim that they have achieved elimination. But there are a number of countries where still they are continuing mass drug administration with the 2 drugs, though the strategy recommends 5 effective annual rounds of MDA. These countries have in many places or many districts, endemic areas, they have more than 10 or 12 rounds of MDA, and this is mainly because of suboptimal coverage of mass drug administration. So it means this situation shows that we require alternate strategies or strategies to accelerate elimination so as we can reach the target by 2030 globally, and of course 2021 in Indian situation. So there was a study where the controlled trials were conducted, and these studies have shown that adding one more drug, that is ivermectin, to these 2 drugs have certain advantages. Number one is that about 40% more reduction or clearance of MF. It means complete clearance of microfilaria when you add one more drug. So this is one advantage. And second advantage is with a single treatment, the reduction whatever you achieve, that is the clearance, is maintained at least for 3 years. And third important aspect is that this adding one more drug to DEC and albendazole, it inhibits the release of microfilaria so that the action on the adult is also evident. So it means that main problem with the 2 drugs is that we don't have much effect of these drugs on the adult worm, but adding one more drug it has. So also pharmacokinetic studies have shown that there is no interaction between DEC and ivermectin. It means the drugs are safe in the treatment. And in addition to that, when you're adding ivermectin to DEC and albendazole, we have also collateral benefit because it's effective for head lice and as well as the scabies. So these are some of the findings based on the RCT, and also community trials have been carried out, and these community trials have shown that these adding one more drug, it means the 3 drugs are safe in treating the people. Then when you just look at the transmission cycle, of course we have the vector, we have the parasite, and here is the human. And as far as lymphatic filariasis is concerned, the advantage is that man is the only host except the subperiodic form of Brucia malai, where we have the animals as the reservoirs. So that whatever the intervention we have against the parasite, it means that giving treatment to the human, then it will be very effective. Once the parasites are reduced, and the transmission will be interrupted, and it can be totally, prevent the new cases like. So when you just look at the action of these 3 drugs, so one thing is, of course, the parasite. You have the adult parasite which lives in the lymphatic system, and the females produce microfilaria that comes to the blood, and mosquito picks up this, and then the parasite develops in the vector, and then when it bites another person, and this infective larvae are transferred. So this is how the transmission occurs. So we need to know that where to intervene and which is the potential point of intervention. And here if you see that, so the drug albendazole, which is known to have some effect on the adult, it means partially it damages, and also it reduces the reproductive capacity of the adult form. So when you give the DEC plus albendazole, these 2 drugs are what we call it as microfilarial drug, which kills and reduces the microfilaria in the blood, so that these microfilaria are not available for the vector to transmit. And also it is known that it has got certain synergistic effect when it is given along with albendazole. So this is the advantage. So this reduces the production of microfilaria as well as the clearance of microfilaria which are present in the blood, and this clearance is maintained even with a single dose for at least 3 years. So then based on the community trials, based on the randomized controlled trials, and the WHO has recommended this strategy as an alternate strategy to achieve or accelerate the elimination of lymphatic filariasis. And it has suggested 3 situations where we can go this. Number 1 is that, as we know that 5 effective rounds are necessary when you use 2 drugs to interrupt the transmission. But in the case of these 3 drugs, 2 to 3 rounds is sufficient enough to achieve that. So in areas where we have less than 5 rounds of MDA with the 2 drugs, that situation we can give this 3 drug strategy. Then another situation is that, for example, when we give this the 2 drugs, and if you are not able to achieve the reduction in the transmission, thereby if you have some evidences of ongoing transmission, or if they have evidences of persistent infection, those situations we can give this 3 drugs. And the third situation is where we give these 2 drugs, and then of course we have achieved the total elimination of the transmission or interruption of the transmission. And suppose in case if after stopping MDA with the 2 drugs, if there are certain sites or the places where you have resurgence of infection, and that's that situation that we can give these 3 drugs. So these are the 3 different situations it has been recommended. Then if you just look at what is the status of these 3 drug strategy in different endemic countries, at least 11 countries they have adopted this 3 drug strategy. And of these 11 countries, at the national level, 5 countries are implementing this triple drug administration, and the 4 countries, in fact, they have selected only few sites in their country that are endemic sites, and they have introduced. And 2 countries, they stopped this intervention, and they are under post-validation, what we call it as post-MDA phase, and during that period they have noticed some residual transmission in certain places, and those areas they have introduced these triple drugs. So 11 countries they have currently introduced this. And if you come to India, and of course India contributes about 95% of the total population being protected under triple drugs. So here, when you just look at India, of course, about 15% of the total population which are being covered by triple drug have completed 2 rounds of MDA, and the 85% of the population of the 58.8 million population that they have been covered under 1 round of MDA. It means that they have to go for 1 more round. So if you just look at the overall the implementation units under IDA, 20 out of 172 implementation units which are required MDA are being covered under 3 drugs. And it means out of the total population of about 350 million, 16.8% of the population are under 3 drugs. So it means that India has scaled up this administration of 3 drugs in many places like. So this is the overall situation in India. It means that out of 257 districts, 98 districts have achieved the elimination level, so it constitutes about 34%. It means out of 610 million people who are at the risk of infection in India, 223 million people are totally protected by this mass drug administration. It means that no longer we require any intervention. And of course, 9% of the people who are under, they are under triple drugs. They completed 2 rounds, and another 57.1% of the population are under. They are under 2 drugs. So this is the current situation, and now of course the NVBDCP has taken up steps to scale up this IDA in other countries so that we may be able to achieve or accelerated the elimination. So this is as far as the triple drugs are concerned. I'll just talk a few things about the scope of vector control in the elimination of lymphatic filariasis. If you just look at the framework of control or elimination of the neglected tropical diseases, and they have the target, and we have the different phases of activities where identify the area with infection which require intervention and have the intervention, and have 5 rounds of the mass drug administration, annual rounds of mass drug administration, and once we reach the total interruption of transmission, and that area is being under monitoring for 5 more years. So then of course when you have evidence that we have reached or there was total interruption of transmission, no new cases, and of course that there is we submit that situation to the to WHO, and so the WHO will examine the evidences and then say that the country has eliminated lymphatic filariasis. But these different phases, and if you see that there is an important contribution by the integrated vector management strategy in these different stages. So when you have integrated vector management along with the MDA, of course it ensures that the elimination is reached within the time frame. And also this integrated vector management strategy can be extended or may be initiated during the post-treatment surveillance period, and thereby the resurgence of infection can be prevented. Also, when you stop your intervention and also achieve the elimination of lymphatic filariasis as a public health problem, and during that period we call it as post-validation, and during that post-validation period also this integrated vector management is useful. Then of course WHO has recommended the use of the strategy of integrated vector management for control of lymphatic filariasis as well as malaria. These situations are where, of course, when the area is co-endemic for malaria and lymphatic filariasis, we know that malaria control program and of course malaria elimination program, we have a major the vector management strategy, of course insecticide treated mosquito nets, use of nets, and then indoor residual spraying, and in urban situation larval control. So these measures definitely will be useful for controlling the vectors of lymphatic filariasis. Also in situations where of course these interventions or these vectors of lymphatic filariasis are responding to these interventions, it will be useful. So the WHO recommends the integrated vector management for situations where malaria and lymphatic filariasis are targeted for elimination. And then the WHO also has given the guidelines for integrated vector management. This was recommended in 2008, and of course with the recent the global vector control response, that is in 2017, this also supports the use of integral vector management as a strategy in controlling not only lymphatic filariasis but also other diseases which are prevalent in that particular area under the concept of neglected tropical diseases. And coming to the lymphatic filariasis, if you just look at the situation where the vector control is useful, definitely vector control cannot be an alternate to mass drug administration, because mass drug administration aims at parasite control, reduces the parasite load in the community and also prevents the transmission. But it can be a supplementary to MDA. But also there are certain settings where vector control is useful. One thing is like hotspots. So in spite of controlling the transmission throughout the area, there may be certain areas where you have residual transmission or residual infection. Those areas, definitely the vector control will be useful until the residual infection dies off. Then of course urban situation, the problem with the mass drug administration urban situation is that the compliance is low. So to compensate the low compliance, we can have the vector management strategies, and also situations where we can prevent the resurgence or reintroduction in areas with the persistent infection after stopping MDA. Then of course when you achieve the elimination goal, maybe we need to do have certain activities to prevent the reintroduction, what we call it as that's a post validation phase. So these vector control or vector management will be very useful. Thank you very much.